morning. Today we are doing the chapter 4 in bio, that is the flower. Now, the flower has 4 different parts. They are also called whorls. So the outermost whorl is the calyx made up of sepals. They are also called units. The next whorl is the corolla made up of units called petals. Then is the androecium or the male reproductive part of the flower, that is the stamen made up of the anther and filament, and the innermost whorl is the gynoecium, that is the pistil or carpel, and it is made up of stigma, style and the ovary. Now when the flowers have all the 4 parts or 4 whorls, it is called a complete flower. If one of the whorl is absent, which is mostly male or female part is absent in some flowers, corolla and calyx are always there in the flower. So if one of these is absent, then it is called an imperfect flower or incomplete flower. Now some parts take part in reproduction, so they are called essential whorls. For example, the stamen and the pistil are called essential whorls, whereas the corolla, that is the petals which are brightly colored in most flowers, are helping in reproduction by attracting the insects for pollination. Same way the calyx help in taking care of the flower in the bud condition or photosynthesis. So these don't take part in reproduction, corolla and calyx, and therefore they are called non-essential parts. Whereas androecium and gynoecium or stamen and carpel, both of them are taking part in reproduction or fertilization, and that is why they are called essential whorls. Now when the male part is absent, the flower is only having the female part plus the corolla and calyx, it is called pistillate flower. Whereas when pistil is absent and stamen is present, it is called a staminate flower. Sometimes male and female parts are both missing, so that is called a neuter flower. Now in flowers where sepals and petals cannot be differentiated, they look alike in some flowers, that is they may be green in color, the petals also will look green in color, so they are not they are not sepals or petals, they are called as tepals. So sometimes this structure, this is called perianth. So if all are looking green in color, it is called sepaloid perianth. And in some flowers, the sepals will not be green in color, they will also look like petals. So the petals will be pink in color as well as the sepals. So we cannot differentiate again. So these are tepals, and then because it looks like petals, it is called a petaloid perianth. Now in some flowers, because they are very small, very inconspicuous flowers, and they cannot be seen by the insects or birds, so outside some structures are there, they look like petals. You must have seen in bougainvillea plant, these are pink in color and they are not actually petals, they are called bracts. Now these are for, the bracts are for attracting the insects for pollination. Similarly, some flowers will have nectaries. The nectar will be made by these flowers. They are just like watery substance at the base of the petals or base of the pistil. Now these are just adaptations so that pollination takes place. Now coming to the plant, some plants will have only male flowers or only female flowers, then it is called a dioecious plant. And if the plant has both male and female flowers on it, it is called a monoecious plant. When these flowers are arranged, okay, sometimes it is arranged in different patterns, the new flowers are on top and the big flowers are down, then it is called inflorescence. So the arrangement is called inflorescence. Now we will go to each part in detail. Some flowers, apart from calyx, they have here another series of episepals. Like the sepals, they are green in color and they are episepals. So they may be 5 or less in number or more in number, and that structure is called apicalyx. Now this structure, the calyx, is made up of units called sepals. Their function is to protect the flower in the bud condition and also photosynthesis because it is green in color. Now there are either 5 petals, most of them, and sometimes they are less or sometimes they are more. Now when the sepals are fused like a cone-like structure, it is called gamosepalous. Now when the sepals are free, they are called polysepalous. So poly means free, remember poly means free, and gamo means fused. Now coming to the next word, that is a corolla. The petals are mostly 5 in number, or in some flowers it is less, some flowers it is more. Now the flowers, the petals are also fused in the dura and all, like a cone-like structure. Then it is called gamopetalous. And if they are free like hibiscus, the petals are free, then it is called polypetalous. Now the function of corolla is to protect the inner walls, and the main function is to attract the insects for pollination. Now coming to the next inner wall, that is the stamen. The stamen is made up of 2 parts. One is the anther and the thread-like filament. Now this anther contains the pollen grains inside bag-like structures. If you cut it transverse section, you will get 4 parts of this pollen sacs, and inside are the pollen grains which are very light in weight. Now next is the pistil or the carpel, or it is also called gynoecium. This is also called androecium. Now the gynoecium is made up of 3 parts. The stigma, which is always bilobed or feathery, or it has papillae to hold the pollen grain because it is a receiving end or receiving part which receives the pollen in pollination. Now this style is a tube which connects the stigma to the ovary, and the ovary is again a swollen part of the pistil, which is the basal portion. So inside this, you can see here there are 2 compartments. In some ovaries there are more, 4, 5. These compartments are called locules, and inside the locules there are the ovules which are attached to them. This attachment of the ovules into the ovary wall is called placentation. So inflorescence and placentation, you have to only know what it means, only the definition. So placentation is the way how, or the mode of the attachment of the ovules to the ovary wall inside by placenta. There is a fluid-like substance mass. If you cut a tomato, you will see inside a fluid-like mass, and the seeds are embedded in it and attached to the walls of the tomato inside. So actually what happens is, this ovary in the flowering plants, all the flowering plants which has an ovary may not turn out to be fruit. For example, hibiscus, rose, they don't become fruits. But all the fruit bearing trees or vegetables are formed from this part only, that is the ovary. So the ovary forms the fruit and the ovules form the seeds. Only a group of fruits called the pom family, okay, apple is one of them. The apple is formed from not the ovary, it is formed from this part, thalamus. This part is called thalamus. So because it is not formed from ovary, it is called a false fruit. Again, when we come to this, the stamens, in some fruits of flowers, this stamen anthers remain separate, and many of the filaments club together to form one single structure. Okay, it is called monadelphous stamen. Now in some cases like pea plant, from 9 of them, 8 filaments fuse together and one only is separate, so that is called diadelphous. And in some other flowers like bombax and all, there are many bunches of filaments forming groups. So that is called polyadelphous. Now coming to the calyx and corolla after fertilization, when the fruit is formed. In the fruit and vegetable plants only this happens. The petals will fall off, the calyx will also fall off, the ovary will turn into the fruit and the ovules will turn into the seeds. Now in some flowers or fruits you must have seen, like pumpkin, capsicum, then green chilies, tomatoes, brinjal also, that the calyx remains in the fruit also. So that is called persistent calyx. It doesn't fall off, it remains. The petals fall off, this turn into the fruit, the ovary, and the calyx remains. That is called the persistent calyx. So how these flowers are arranged on the twig is called inflorescence, and how the ovules are arranged inside the ovary is called placentation. So you read the lesson well and do the exercise what is given based on this after seeing the video.